medical equipment is quite thorny. You know it, Gaba. Thanks.
And I encourage all of us who are here, for purpose of mental fitness, it's good to once in a year you visit a mortuary. It works up. It will help you wake up to the reality that do something when you are still alive, because Chair, when you see my CEC who's next to me, who is the youngest CEC in this country, when she became CEC for health, I told her the first thing she must walk through the city mortuary from one end to the other end. And she was at first timid, but became very bold. Even I got used to it. I think I've gone there more than any other leader in the city before. And I keep going. If I pass by Bagadi, I always pass by the funeral home. I know those young ladies who you met. At that time, there were 14 of them. We've onboarded them. They have come on board. We've hired also some casuals. Senator Hamida, morticians love their job, and they really enjoy their clients. Their clients are not rude. The clients don't complain. They don't talk back. If you ask doctors, the chairman of Nairobi Funeral Home is Dr. Johansen Oduo, who is one of the highly acclaimed morticians in our country. And if he tells you stories of what he's dealt with, it's a calling. You know, when I was in Chiromo in campus, the medical school students would also start in Chiromo and our school of math. And in first year, many would drop out because they start with pathology, where you have to go work on the cadavers. By the time you've gone through that and you end up working in the funeral home, it is something that you're good with. But I hear you. If actually for all our staff, wellness is available for them. It is in the insurance cover. We encourage them, and we have our own county councillors. One thing we realized was many counties, and it's something we dealt with when I was here as chair of labor. Many counties didn't have in their schemes of service provisions for clinical psychologists, psychiatrists to be hired. So many counties didn't have that component. We changed that, and even as Nairobi, we've had very many, counselors, psychiatrists, facilities. You find that service available. And I want to encourage senators here and colleagues, because Chair, in the first time I was here in 2013 as an MP, we didn't have that in our medical scheme until one of our colleagues had an issue. And when she had this issue, she stormed the speaker's office and said, why is it that my psychiatrists cannot be paid? Because they are not on insurance. When that was introduced, it became the highest sought service by parliamentarians. So I hope you're also taking it, because it is okay not to be okay. And we did that book last year the last Senate with Senator Sylvia Kasanga about mental health. Chair, on the issue of Nairobi Funeral Home, by the time we went there, there had been a challenge with the coolers. We've increased the number of coolers. There are 10 new coolers in Nairobi Funeral Home. The issue of disposing bodies has to go through a court process. We have to go to the courts to allow us, and we put the list in the paper. It's very expensive. But in the last financial year, we've been able to dispose 1,000 bodies from Nairobi Funeral Home. I really like the idea that you've given, that a special facility be set up purely for those cases that are from crime or police cases, etc., because they are treated differently. And that's a conversation we can have, because it reached a point that my chief officer refused to receive bodies from the police, and now the bodies were kept in a truck. Now the police boss tells me he has no mortuary. What does he do? Because they don't pay. For all other people, there's a payment that is done. But for the cases that come from the Kenya police, they do not pay. And so we said, let's find an arrangement between ourselves and the national police, because they don't provide such health services, but they can help us construct, or we can construct a facility that those cases can be dealt with in the manner they're dealt with. And I want to thank you for that idea. The issue of medical equipment is something we chose as a city, as a county, not to rush into it. There's a national equipment program, which is a good initiative. We had earlier the MESS program, which became a mess. So 45 counties signed. Nairobi didn't sign, and Kiambu had not signed. because we wanted to look at the detail of each contract and what we're already receiving. In some of the instances, we had better deals in terms of the revenue share of placement. We have since been able to negotiate. And so what we are signing as Nairobi, and I have already authorized for us now to sign, is a specific tailor-made program based on what Nairobi needs. So that you don't sign for what you don't require. Remember, there are countries that had signed, they were being charged, the money was being withdrawn from COP, yet they don't have three-phase electricity. So they're not using equipment that they're paying for, or they don't have water connections. So just being prudent and making sure that we get value for money. It has taken us time to refine all of those contracts and to have a tailor-made requirement. You'll find there are certain machines that are needed in Eastlands, maybe near Dandora. You'll find more respiratory issues than in Dagoretti. There are certain issues that are actually, in as much as Nairobi is small, there are very different ailments. Mbagathi has a huge population of people coming from Kajiado that come to Kajiado County, that come to Mbagathi, and what they come for is very different from what people are being treated for in Roysambu. So in fact, that's why I have found land to